Hey there. Let's do an energy check-in, okay? Feels like it's needed. Sorry, my hair's a little crazy right now. I just had a heating pad on my neck, so got a little hot. Yeah, it just feels like some disruption going on out there, either internally or externally. So let's see what's up. Okay. Just think of that. The Tower. That is energetic crumbling, physical crumbling, depending upon what you're going through. Ooh. The Knight of Swords in reverse, the Ace of Wands in reverse. So with that kind of energy, because the Knight of Swords upright is like truth, like truth uncovered, messages inbound, figuring out what's going on, understanding what's going on. And then the Ace of Wands is like a torch lit from within, passion, ignited, forward movement, hope. These are both in reverse. So if there's a tower is what we call in tarot something that is built on shaky ground, and the universe in some way or another has aligned events so that this thing comes crumbling down. I always think of it like IKEA furniture, where like you may be 3 steps to the end, but you realize one step was done wrong and you have to take the whole fucking thing apart and start over. That's a tower. And that can mean something that happened externally to your life, like perhaps your marriage is falling apart, your job is falling apart, you have to sell your house, something along those lines. Or it can be internally, like existential crisis, realizing that you're not happy, those types of things. So it can be internal or external. And right now, how you're feeling is it's very much like you're not seeing things very clearly. You don't feel like you have any kind of forward progress on it, and you're feeling a little hopeless. This gives me the vibe that you are like in the midst of this or the early stages of this, and it's beating the shit out of you. So let's see what's going on. Ace of Swords upright. So truth is coming, but it's just not, it's just going to be a little bit. And also, usually, this truth is meant to be like an internal truth. I always think of the aces as internal. And so, like, Ace of Swords, when we're talking about truth, think of that like your backbone. And think of that as like your sense of self. Like, do you have a firm sense of self? And I feel like that's what's inbound, is a firm sense of self, or that's what you're working on. Lovers in reverse, 5 of Wands upright, 2 of Wands upright. Okay. So, and that comes out under the Ace of Swords. So that's that sense of self. So the lovers can mean things like partnership, teamwork, that type of thing. So lovers in reverse means that some sort of teamwork is falling apart. And the 5 of Wands is someone defending their ground. It's needing to defend your position. A lot of times it's just conflict in general, but wands is specifically about like, feeling like you're being attacked. And then two of wands upright is the concept of starting to look toward the future. In traditional tarot, it's like somebody standing in a window kind of looking out over the horizon. And so it feels like teamwork, some sort of teamwork or partnership has fallen apart. You're feeling attacked for it, and you're starting to see the sense that you need to move on. And that's why this sense of self is blossoming, because you realize that like the team ain't working and all you've got is you. Okay. Try to get up there where you guys can see. So my makeup's all like smearing and shit. Jumped in the pool. It's hot here. Ooh. The World upright and the Hermit upright. Good. That's great. Oh, my makeup. Anyway. Okay. The World is very much like a sense of completion, like a natural evolution of events changing. The seasons have changed. From spring to summer, summer to autumn, autumn through winter, and back to spring again. And the Hermit is the concept of going internally, and thinking about, like in here, for example, it shows a salmon swimming upstream. Oh, sorry, hold on, my cat just came in. All right, hopefully he's not too noisy. But this idea that you have to kind of like go against the current, and do your own thing. Your own thing. You have to turn inwards and guide yourself through instinct. You don't always know where you're going. There's just something inside of you that's taking you there. And this is indicating that it's time to do so. Whatever happened, whatever just fell apart, it was time. Okay? So, whatever uncomfortableness you're going through right now, it was destined to be so, because something was needed to happen. The Hangman. The reason that this is pictured is the original hangman is the concept of the Norse god Odin went out to a tree and like hung himself upside down by like the feet for who knows how long, until he understood the universe. Stop being so loud. And so that's the idea of the hangman. Upright is the sense that you've changed your perspective. You're looking at things in a new way. Shush. Sorry, my cat is very chatty. And that's what you're doing. And a lot of this is like that kind of internal contemplation of slowing things down inside of yourself and really just listening. Not to everyone around you, but to your internal guidance, to your team perhaps, but we may not be there yet. Like if this is a new tower or if it's a new awakening, you might not have access to your guidance team yet. Eight of Pentacles. So the concept of Eight of Pentacles is of working on a skill. It's figuring out how to take one thing and make two out of it. Take two things and make four out of it. Does that make sense? It's like learning how to do a thing over and over and over again until you become perfect at it. And that came out underneath. Oh no, wait, that's its own row. Okay. I was gonna say it doesn't come out. Yeah, so we've got that one. Okay, that's its own row. Let's see what comes out underneath that and clarifies it. If you're working on a skill, you're trying to build a way of doing things. Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is, like, as you can see here, it's a bunch of clovers, but it's usually comes with the idea that, like, hopefulness, but exhaustion. You know, like, part of the reason there's clovers here is because, like, the idea is that you've been working very, very hard, and you're a bit battered and bruised from this whole experience. And you're, you know, like in traditional tarot, the Nine of Wands is like this person, you know, standing with, like, it's like your wounded warrior type of person. So there, it just requires, you're looking for a break. You're like, when does my break come? Hold on, my dog's barking. Yeah, and so it just, the Nine of Wands really speaks to, like, persistence, resilience, this kind of, like, keep on keeping on kind of attitude. I think that's really good. What kind of advice can we give? Three of Cups. Three of Cups is the idea of friendship, of community, of, you know, sometimes you can think of it as three's a crowd, but in the upright position, and because I asked for advice, I think this would be saying to talk to some friends, to use, you know, like you had a lover's reverse situation, so there was something that fell apart, whether it was a relationship or a job. And Four of Pentacles. And so, you know, like the Four of Pentacles is typically the idea of being kind of like stingy, of keeping things close to your chest. And I think this is to remind you to kind of share the burden a little bit. Not to be a burden, but let people know where you're at. Let them know that how you're feeling. Sometimes it just helps. Queen of Wands upright. I think Queen of Wands is the concept of someone who is passionate, vibrant, confident, alluring, psychic probably, but definitely a positive influence in the upright position. And then the Five of Pentacles. So I feel like, oh my gosh, sorry, it's just the cat. With these two kind of coming out conjunct, I would take this to mean that, like, this feels like this is the person who left and left you in like a scarcity. Either maybe they made more money than you, they were the boss that fired you, or something along those lines. Or like someone that you admire, but like it wasn't able to work out. Something like that. Because this is kind of destitution, left out in the cold, that type of thing. So, but this person is in the upright position. Like they weren't being overly cruel. They weren't being petty. It's like you see that they were making a good choice, but it left you like this. I want more advice. Three of Wands and the Four of Cups reversed. I see this as part of this tower situation that you're experiencing is you see the loss of this as kind of like a blessing in disguise. And the Three of Wands is the concept of planting seeds, you know, in autumn, knowing that they're going to grow in the spring. You understand that this is a blessing in disguise. The Four of Cups upright is typically the universe gifting you with something, but you're not aware of it, or you're bored or indifferent to it. But in the reverse, I see that as you see the gift. You see the gift that was offered, and you understand that the future holds promise, even if you're in kind of like an autumn or winter period of your life right now. There will be a spring again. And Knight of Wands. And passion will return. Excitement will return again. And Two of Cups upright. And love and partnership will come again. I think this really just feels like you're just going through a hard time right now. And this is very much just a message of hope. The card that popped out, strength. Can you see that? Yeah. You're going inwards. You're listening to yourself. You're finding your inner guidance. You're doing what you're supposed to do. It's just going to take time. But it will, like, you are on the right path. You are moving in the right direction. Just trust. Trust your journey. And just keep going. Take breaks if you need to. But keep going. You got it. You're getting there. All right. I love you.